So first, I want to apologize for being in my garage. It is the quietest place for me to be able to record a video without dogs barking or kids trying to interrupt. But I'm very excited about this course. And this first initial module with these assignments really solidifies why I'm excited. So you'll read in my vision and my story that what I hope to accomplish in my effort to build out what would be classified as a nonprofit organization is primarily the effort to create a faith community, not a church, not a building where people show up on Sunday mornings for worship service for their hour or come back midweek for a Bible study, but a true kingdom community. I reside in Kentucky. I live about 20 minutes outside of Louisville, but my current ministry context is in Louisville, which is where I would hope to begin my efforts for this faith community. So just a tidbit of background, I'm a formal social worker. That's what my undergraduate degree is in. And I worked as a social worker in the city of Louisville in the West End. Now, the West End is much like the kind of forgotten streets of Louisville. It is definitely classified by, it's predominantly a non-white community. It is predominantly Black, but there is a significant amount of diversity, ethnic or racial diversity in that part of the city. We have several concentrations of refugees. We do have a significant refugee population here. There are other neighborhoods within the city, but there's a significant portion of refugee families that live in the West End. Most everyone past a certain street, 12th Street to be exact, all the way down to like 43rd, are below poverty line. Significantly higher crime rate in that area, lower percentage of high school graduates, high percentage of unemployment, higher frequency of drug use, like all of the bad, sinful things that you would think about an urban area exist in that community. Now, while we can name the problems, we can also name a lot of the causes. Transportation is an issue. We do have some public transportation here in the city, but it is not. The majority of the routes and the stops are concentrated in downtown, and the farther you get outside of like city center, there are neighborhoods that have more stops than others, but it is a very lengthy ride to get from certain parts of the city to the other, hours in some cases, just because of catching the right bus, and there's no direct route from here to there, so I've got to take a bus from here to here and then here to over there, and so it's definitely not convenient, not very time efficient. There are also far fewer businesses in the West End than there are other places. So when you couple that with the lack of transportation, the unemployment rate is so high because it's very difficult to find places to work. So a lot of folks who are doing like in-home daycares, who are like mowing lawns, there's folks who kind of handyman work where they, kind of do odd jobs here and there, but you also see a significant amount of folks who participate in illegal ways to make their money. So it truly is just a cycle of poverty. So what I hope to do is to create this faith community first to just to address the needs of those in closest proximity. Are clothes an issue? Do we need to take on donations and create a clothing closet? Is there a significant need for resources for families and parenting? Do they need diapers, wipes, formula? Do we need a food pantry? Do we need to offer a space for recovery classes, like things that are kind of easy to implement, like low-hanging fruit, I guess, the things that are easy. But that initial phase of just kind of creating the foundation, solidifying that, once that is at a space where it can be sustained, this is really where the partnerships come into play. And so while I don't have a well structured list of phases, I guess, don't know which will come first. I feel like that's the space where I just have to let the spirit work. But what I hope to do is create partnerships that allow us to expand the offerings of the faith community, so that not only are those kind of low-hanging fruits, those needs met, things that are, easier, kind of superficial, kind of on the surface, but in an effort to start addressing some of the reasons that we see folks below the poverty line, a higher instance of crime, a lower rate of high school graduates, to begin to, kind of address the root of those issues. I would love to build partnerships with educators, with the family resource centers, and those, and leadership in those areas. We have an organization called Seven Counties. It is primarily like a therapeutic resource. They do family counseling, individual counseling. They offer parenting classes, and they do a lot in conjunction with our Child Protective Services, with the Cabinet for Health and Family Services here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I love to partner with the health department to begin to utilize that space, so that even getting to the health department is not necessarily an easy task, depending on where you live, what the transportation looks like. So if you don't have a physician within the area that will accept your insurance, the health department is a great resource, but still very difficult to get to. So how can we partner with them so that maybe we can create, in partnership with the health department and other physicians who would be willing to donate their time, but be able to offer some sort of medical clinic. Again, I mentioned that there is a significant population of refugees who have settled here in the Louisville area. I would love to be able to create legal services to be able to assist those who are seeking asylum, who are seeking a visa so that they may pursue citizenship here in the United States. Adult education. Obviously, the high school graduation rate is very low. How can we partner with adult education to be able to offer GED classes so that they are in close proximity? It allows, they don't have to catch a bus to get there. They walk down the block. I would love to partner, with our local police precinct, for those that work that area of town, with the fire department, to be able to teach safety, to how do you properly secure a car seat for those who, do have a vehicle. Social workers, other churches, the Jefferson County Youth Corrections is not far. It's within the bounds of what would be considered the West End. So I'd love to be able to work with them, so that what about the social workers who are working with these kids before they're released? How can we best support them? How can we help in the transition so that those kids that are getting out of there never go back? I've already started conversations with some of the family court judges. In Louisville, there are 10 divisions of family court, 10 different judges. I've worked with some of them before, some of whom were attorneys when I worked with them, but either way, very passionate about what we're trying to do. So, and of course, I would love to partner with other nonprofits. We have folks who run, domestic violence shelters for women and children. We have the Ronald McDonald House, who supports families who are receiving services for their medical services for their children at Coast Children's Hospital there in town. Plenty of recovery centers that are within the close proximity. And so while those partnerships really depend on the needs at the time and the people, the right people in the right places, I do hope that eventually all of those partnerships become fruitful, that we are able to create spaces where those services are offered in a way that not only are those who are providing the services, that their generosity is feeding into the life of that community, but also that those who may have stepped into this community with the intention to just be a provider of services are also a recipient, that they get to that their generosity is reciprocated in the generosity of others, so that in that abundance, in the abundance of what we've been given, whether it be resource or talent or time, that we are all able to be generous with what we've been given, so that we all get to benefit and experience the goodness of God in the abundance that we have together as a community. So, thank you.